Hello everybody and welcome back to the AOR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. It is the penultimate round of the season already. Obviously it's only a 6-round season, but we're already at round 5. Unfortunately I have missed the last 2 races because first of all being away and then being ill. So I'm a little bit out of touch with what has happened in the last couple of weeks. Luckily though, I have my lovely co-commentator with me who did broadcast those 2 races, which by the way, for anyone watching this on my YouTube channel later, you can find those 2 broadcasts from the last 2 rounds, which I missed on King Kodak's channel, which is Ranger Carrot 1980, is that correct?
That's the Twitch handle, it's just Ranger Carrot on the YouTube.
Just Ranger Carrot on YouTube. But that was the voice of my lovely co-commentator King Kodak, so how are you doing?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. I am all amped up and ready to go as I always am. Glad to be along your side once more. What a race we have got lined up here at Laguna Seca.
Qualifying just starting now for round 5 out of 6, and of course I have to mention that the championship leader Vernux can clinch the championship today. I'm actually going to quickly bring up the driver championship while we're talking about it. So you can see here the championship Vernux leading by 41 points over second place Maisie, who's further 2 points out of Yorkie, so it's a close battle for second, but it's a pretty big gap from Vernux down to Maisie. So obviously it's a maximum of 36 points you can score per week, 35 for the win and 1 extra for the pole position. So basically if Vernux just fails to score, or if he manages to not score 5 points less than Maisie, he will clinch the championship today.
It is it's quite a healthy advantage, and Vernux has just been a pretty strong force. He didn't have quite such a good day in the office last time. He stole the win. I say stole the win. He scored the win. Was the sentence I was aiming for in the first 2 rounds pretty convincingly, and had a pretty big bad. We had a terrible day in the office at the Algarve, but as we just had a few late joiners, we're now back up to 21, so we are going to have a few timing glitched drivers, sadly, those being Nismo in the second Tiger Ferrari, Yorkie in the M6, Colonel McCoy in the M6 as well, I believe, are the 3 drivers that are going to be stuck at the bottom of the table. We had 7 drivers stuck at the bottom of the table last week. It was made commentary very, very difficult. But the man we're looking at the moment, Yorkie in his M6, had a belting round. He was fighting for the win for most of the race, and a long way. I mean, so far ahead of the rest of the field. It was quite incredible. See, Yorkie came home second in the end last week in a very, very rain-soaked Brands Hatch. We lost a good 7 drivers in the course of that particular race. So we will see. I'm not really expecting a great deal of attrition here in Laguna Seca, but one thing I am expecting to see is tyre management, not for wear, but for heat.
So you can see a few lap times having come onto the board already. 10 times on the board. You mentioned we had 21 drivers in the field today, and it's quickly coming in. 12 drivers now having set time. Popsu provisionally on pole position by 5,000 of a second.
5,000 of a second.
Over Johan. He has to mention about Johan, obviously, out of the 4 races so far, he's been disqualified twice because of track limits, and I think if he hadn't done that, he would have been up there with Vernux, fighting for that championship, but unfortunately, in championship battle terms, Vernux has a pretty heavy lead, down in 6th though so far in the qualifying, but obviously plenty of time to go. Gronstra sitting 5th at the moment in his newfound Ginetta, coming back out of the pits after his first run.
Lemon Lambo, there he is.
Yay! Still there.
We still have our Lemon Lambo. Got to mention Junior as well in one of the 2 McLarens. He had a fairly good day in the office last week in Brands Hatch, but it's not. He's had a very mixed season. He started well. He joined us in Algarve, I believe, but crashed out of that particular race. So he wasn't with us at the beginning of the season. There is Stu in the other McLaren. He is currently 3rd. Stu generally is towards the sharper end of the field that we have seen. He's generally the one upsetting the Ferrari list as he's getting off course. He's only 1.5 tenths off of Popsu at the moment. And Maisie is now back. He's improved his lap. He improved his lap on his out lap. That shows you how badly that actually went. Another thing to bear in mind is that this track is quite wide. If we go to this camera, the track is actually quite wide. It allows for a number of different lines to be taken and several key areas. It really shows. These particular corners, there's only one real way to do it. But in the first turn, for instance, that double apex left-hander, you can either take the apexes very, very tight, because there's not a great deal of straight between that and the next turn, turn 3, or you can take a much wider entry to get a faster exit. So again, personal preference and setup will be what dictates that. And again, here at the corkscrew, there's a couple of different ways to take it. Either take, let's see how Maisie's done. Now he's gone deep into the corkscrew and taken that right apex. Absolutely fine. There's no right or wrong way. Well, there's wrong ways to do it.
There are many wrong ways. I've tried many wrong ways.
But you can, for instance, you can keep to the apex, the first apex in the corkscrew, the one on the left-hand side, to take a smoother exit off of the corkscrew instead of going over it, essentially, as Maisie did, which is very, very bumpy and can unsettle the car. Let's just see what Maisie does here. He has set a 124.0. We have a new pole sitter. It's Johan by 2,000ths of a second.
Jesus. So he's improved by 7,000s, and those 7,000s has put him up to pole position. Yeah.
Morvik has got ice.
Oh, Stu's on pole now.
Whoa! What a time! Nearly breaking that 122. He's put nearly 2/10 on the tooth of Johan and Popsy.
And up towards the corkscrew once again. This time with no car as a distraction, and he can take a nice kind of line in the middle of the track there. Oh no, that's a big distraction.
Oh.
That's a Mercedes backwards. Oh, he had to completely back out of the lap there because of that.
It's Jeff.
Jeff who's messed that one up. Oh, there. That's Johan's not going to be too pleased about that, but
and that's no. I found the Audi very, very edgy, very twitchy. So we'll see how Maisie does. Does he improve? He does in time and jumps up to 13th place.
That's really what he needs, though, if he wants to put the pressure on Vernex for him to. No. Basically, Maisie needs to outscore Vernex by 5 points to keep the championship alive. I'm not sure he's really thinking about that, though, because of the big gap.
Yeah, indeed.
For us, it would be fun.
But all it takes is one mistake. I mean, we saw that. We saw that 2 weeks ago, particularly at Algarve. I mean, Vernox had a terrible day. He was 8th in the end, classified 8th. There was a few precision changes due to disqualifications and what have you. But I mean, he had a terrible day, and this track being so twisted. Whoa! That's not how you do the corkscrew. That'll be his day done then. So, and you can pick up engine damage doing that, just because of the undulation of the ground. The front right wheel will actually take off, and if you hit it too hard, you actually hit the deck with the nose. So you can hurt the car. Stu, where is he? He's going to bounce away. He is. Right, he is coming through turn 3.
Maybe check on Popsu, because he's the sort of main challenger, I would say, to Stu now for that pole position. And he's only got, is that 2 corners to go?
2 turns, 2 turns left. So he's just come through turn 10. Now, send it out wide. We obviously don't know what split, how he's doing split time. Do not run onto that AstroTurf. That will invalidate your lap. Now, straight line towards the line. Does he improve? He does, but second!
So close!
So he's ahead of Johan now. Where's Stu? I mean, he's still in pole. He's coming up to the corkscrew. He looked very unsettled. There, you saw. Oh, dear. And that is, whilst going through that line, as most people were doing, is quicker. That's the risk you take. The car is very unsettled when it hits the ground.
I think that was just his pole position celebration there.
Yeah, could have been. So Stu does indeed have that pole position, with Popsu second, Johan third, Perry Gronstrap fourth, Vernox 5, James 6, Morvik 7, Tipple in 8th. Yorkie is there in 9th, so he was one of the 4 affected by the timing bug. One tyre rounds out the top 10. Andrex just behind his BMW brethren, Andres Hayder in 12th, Junior in the Black McLaren in 13th, Maisie 14, Nismo 15, Rigor 16, Nick Meadow 17, Mickersby 18, Ken McCoy 19, I mentioned earlier Jeff, and Claessen's 20th and 21st. Johan definitely trying to get the last bit of heat into his tyres. Ooh, steady, Perry. I mean, these are people obviously doing getting some heat into the brakes while they will shoot forwards and then slow down very suddenly. Perry choosing this moment. Perry, the only person who can get some more heat to his tyres. Stu is a little bit eager to get underway. So, and the camera's actually lost. That doesn't help. So, at any point from now, Stu can floor it. They are in the acceleration go, and there he goes. We are racing here at Laguna Seca.
So Stu leading the field down to the first corner, and it's Popsy under pressure from Johan immediately. Johan taking that inside line for the corner. Can they nail the first braking though? Popsy a little bit out wide, and another car as well. That's James very far out. Oh, and Gronstor nearly loses it on the inside. Also back in Vernox up a little bit, which slots James back into P5. Popsy losing out to Johan in the end as well for second place. Very close. Oh, and Gronstor is partly on the gravel. A big wiggle again on both of the first two corners so far. He is in P6, just about holding on from Tipple, who also puts a couple of tires there in the gravel. Very hectic start and a few position changes, but at least it's all been pretty much clean.
Vernox is snuck through into that 5th position due to the mistake from the Janetta. We've just seen that's Morvik getting interested in that Falcon BMW ahead of him. He's got another pair of that's Yorkie that was getting a little bit wide on that turn 6. Very, very easy to do as they now come into the corkscrew for the first racing lap. Oh, and again, you could see how the nose of that McLaren just bounces off the floor. Is that Yorkie going very wide? Yeah, he had a... Oh no, beg your pardon, there's Andrex.
Oh, yeah.
Trouble.
So Andrex is he ahead of Yorkie then? Where's the other? Yorkie ahead, yeah, so Yorkie is just there ahead of him. It's a bit of a gap there forming ahead of Andrex actually. So Andrex having a few little problems. He's up one position though from where he started, up to 10th in the race. That's Andres Hayter there, I think, losing out to one tyre, and it's nearly 3 wide now behind one tyre going down the straight, but I think they managed to get that sorted out. So
the camera gets lost on that last corner.
Okay.
Oh, Stu's lost the lead. Look at that. Johan's managed to go on the inside after turn 2. So the McLaren was actually 3 tenths ahead when they started the lap, and now Johan's managed to slip through. So the McLaren's obviously had a trouble at that double apex turn 2. He's now got Popsy all over the back of him, and James is actually second back from this pack. You can see him in the background there. So James isn't having a good time, and that's Popsy having a look on the inside. Goodness me, Stu, where is his pace gone?
Good question. He must have, I assume he would have run deep then on turn 1, because he lost those 3 seconds very suddenly. And all of a sudden, as we switch back on board, Johan was ahead, and now Popsy getting so much on the straights, going to take the inside. Do they really want to go side by side through the corkscrew? Popsy very late on the brakes and manages to get it slowed down. Stu being very cautious there, just letting him go through. Does not want any side actions through there. Probably a wise decision, but this battling is allowing Johan to pull a gap of over a second now. Oh, and Nick Meadows off the track at the corkscrew there. That
a 2-second penalty for Nick Meadow, I think.
Could be a little bit costly potentially there.
Andres Hayden's also got a 2-second penalty.
Okay, that's good to know. Very early penalties. At least not the most harsh penalties, but if they're going to stay as close to as this to other cars throughout the race, then it might end up being costly. But Nick Meadow then running in 15th, I believe, at the moment, if you count Yorkie being somewhere ahead of him.
Yeah, that camera gets really lost. It starts looking at the wrong car.
Oh, we had this on Project Ghost 1 as well, didn't we?
And that's Junior running deep into... But that could actually be, there was what I was talking about. Instead of taking the apexes tight, Junior's just actually demonstrated how to go deep into turn 2 and cut back for a faster exit on that second apex. So that's a perfect demonstration we've just seen.
Gronstor's dropping positions. Gronstor's down to 9th and 11th and 12th and 13th. Where is Gronstor gone? Well, my timings anyways dropped completely. Oh, there he is. He is having a horrible time in the gravel.
Oh, what a shame. He was doing so well up in 4th position and now finds himself plumb last.
Well, it was already looking really shaky already right at the start of the race. So the first 2 corners were wiggling all over the place, and I guess he probably just lost the car there.
Let's jump back up to our lead then. Johan leads the way by 1.5 seconds over Popsy. Stu in 3rd in the red McLaren, so the top pack have now spread out. Vernox in 4th, James just behind in a 5th position. Tipple in the lead, M6 is not far off the back of James either. So Yorkie's on the back of Morvik, I think that is. Yes, it is. So Yorkie's in 9, and Nismo therefore is in 13th, as you said.
Yeah, indeed. Oh my word, what is going on here? Oh my god, it's 3 wide through the corkscrew. I've never seen anything like this. Oh my god, Hayter massively losing out there as Nismo and Macy both go through. Unbelievable scenes there.
Holy moly, how on earth did they not just end up in a very big pile of twisted metal? That was incredible driving by all of them. Yes, Andreas Hayter lost those 2 positions. Nismo is nailed to the back of the Audi as again the camera's lost. So wow, look at that! Looking at the timings at the front, Yuan still has 1.5 seconds, and then 2 seconds down is Stu. That's the Stu from that's the view rather from Stu. Look at the lead Ferraris; they are away, but it's early days, still plenty of time to go. Also, Stu is he's maintaining about 8 tenths or so from Vernox. So Vernox not quite in a position to attack. James roughly a little bit further back from Vernox. Was that 7 tenths or so? 8 tenths, maths failing me. There we see Tipple. So they're spacing out relatively well at the front. Whoops, we see Tipple going wide at turn 6. It's very easy to do, and that's actually going to cost him quite a bit of time. That is... he had a slowdown penalty. Yeah, and that's allowed Yorkie to... no, beg your pardon, that's Andres.
Wait, so Andres is ahead of Yorkie? Okay, interesting.
Yes. So they've
Andres
swapped
after
around
P6, that's very impressive. He started in, was it 11th, I believe?
It was outside of the top 10.
Yeah, Andres gets 5 positions here in the first 5 laps. Did I just see a breaking board?
There was a breaking board. There was a bit of breaking board that flew through this shot. Nismo is coming up behind. That is Rigor. Oh dear!
He's not coming up behind anyone anymore. I think that's the disconnection.
And it's disconnection, yeah. So as we were looking at him, I managed to commentate his curse him even out of the race.
Oh, no! Stu has dropped it! I think.
No, it's Morvik. It's Morvik.
Okay,
he's dropped at turn 4.
I forgot that they were teammates. I thought we had only one red McLaren, Ferrari wannabe McLaren. But yeah, so Morvik's dropped it. He was running in 8th, wasn't he? Or 7th?
9th. Yeah, he was 8th or 9th.
Pretty solid position. And now
that's going
all the way down.
McCoy that's just gone past him. So
all the way down, out of the points even.
Oh, what a disaster for Morvik. So yeah, the only reason I'm trying to keep an eye on where our no-time drivers are is just to kind of cement in my mind where they are on track. Oh, damn it. Does your camera face off to the hills right now?
No, it's watching Yorkie, so that's all good.
See, for me, it's actually it sits at the start-finish line facing the corkscrew, so it's just going to be hill in the way. So it works for you, that's fine. So it's a problem on my side, I can live with that. Oh. So that is Tipple and Andrex directly ahead of Yorkie, as we can see. So Yorkie is therefore in 8th position.
Worth pointing out, yeah, the front, the gap has gone down to under a second now. Last lap is 6 tenths quicker for Popsu over Johan, who dropped back into the 24s, actually. Not the best lap for him, but let's see what it's going to be this time around. 8 tenths, it says the gap at the moment. Johan is going to do a 3.9, and so is Popsu. 5,000
in it.
Very close pace at the front.
5 seconds back, Stu. He is really falling off, and he was actually slightly quicker.
Yeah.
Look at that! Oh,
wow.
The top 3, 23.9s. So Stu has got the pace in that McLaren. Maybe he's backing off. Again, I mentioned earlier that a big time management problem here is heat as opposed to wear. So it could be that he's trying to keep that under control. James is in 4th. Andrix there in 5th. He is right with James now. What a second separate team. He's actually got ahead of Vernax. So whilst we're looking away, Andres is up to 5th position. Junior is in the pits. We have a pit there of Junior. Can't really see what's going on with that particular car.
I can see it, it's fine. And there we go. It's kind of...
Because my camera's gone to Colonel McCoy, so I'm glad yours is working okay.
Junior with a lovely pit crew, actually. They've done some tyre work, but at the moment they're just doing absolutely nothing, and he's just sitting there in his box. Dear. So we're going to go away from that. Junior's clearly having a bad time in the pit stop. So back to this lovely train here with Vernox in the middle of Andrex and Tipple. Yeah, we didn't see unfortunately how Andrex got past, but Vernox isn't really at the same level he's been so far this season, I would have thought.
No. But then he doesn't necessarily need to be. He may realise he's going for he doesn't have to challenge for the silly moves. He pushing a little bit too hard in Algarve really cost him dearly. So it could be that he's just thinking the longer game, and we'll see how that pays out for him.
He has got a decent run. What is the straight line speed difference between these cars? Wonder if there's any slipstream effect as well. He's not really gaining quickly enough for a longer straight on the circuit. It's not actually that long either. And that's very wide there for James. Underneath goes Andrex, but he just can't bring the momentum with that tighter line on the exit. But yeah, he's really putting the pressure on now. He wants into the top 4.
Maisie's got himself a penalty now, so we have another red label driver. Look at this. I want to see.
He's going to go for it. He's going to pause. James is going to defensive now through the long left-hander up the hill. He's surely not around the outside. That's not possible, is it? Oh, he's going to cut underneath instead.
Yeah, he's going to go for the switchback, but it didn't quite pay off, didn't quite have the momentum to do it. You can see he's having a look on the inside of turn 6, but he's not pressured James into that mistake. So now up the hill, then he's going to have a dive on the inside of the corkscrew. He's a little bit too far back for that, so he's now going to bide his time and either force a mistake before the final turn or have a lunge on the inside of turn 11.
Yeah, worth keeping an eye on the gap at the front as well. Actually, it was down to 2/10 between you and Popsu for a little bit there, but it's just spread out again in the final sector. But yeah, through the middle sector, Popsu was really, really close to Johan. I think we probably could go back to Andrex, who at this stage on the previous lap was also close. It's a similar gap this time onto the main straight, but again,
it's allowing Stu to try and get away as well, although he was actually 2/10 slower than these two. Johan and Popsu did it at 1:25 that time, so they've actually lost a second nearly.
Have they had a bit of problem with each other potentially there? Yeah, that's very fast pace than what have been so far. 2 seconds slower for Johan compared to the previous lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Whilst the pretty much 3rd through to 8th are in the 124s, so they've got a comfortable lead to do that for a while.
Oh,
but
there we go again.
That too many times. Andrex again having a look on the outside, heading down to turn 5. But James knows he's got the defensive line. Now the BMW going to try to switch back again. He's a little too close to try it. Well defended there by James. Now he's going to try. Let's get on board again with the M6. So Andrex backing off a little bit.
You don't really want to be side by side through that corner there, because that is really tricky and going to cost both drivers a lot of speed going side by side. And same thing, I guess, with this one, just purely because of how tricky the corkscrew is. Yeah, back into the zone where he can potentially make a move.
I mean, whilst the track is actually quite wide, there's only really a couple of prime overtaking opportunities. And we are coming up to another one then, so he's going to hope James runs wide, which he doesn't. And there's a pretty big braking zone here into turn 11. Ooh, the Ferrari got very squirrely on the exit. Now is a great opportunity. The next prime opportunity for Andrex is into turn 2. So here he comes in. We now go through turn 1. James goes very defensive. Andrex is going to try and string it around the outside. He's got a late braking move. It's not quite paid off. James has parked it brilliantly on the apex there, firm but fair. And Andrex is going to have to try again later on. Another penalty now. It is Andreas Hayder. Oh, Jeff. No, Jeff this time has picked up a penalty.
Oh, the penalties are racking up there in the midfield. Nick
Meadham's got up to 14 seconds.
Jeff only 3 seconds. Oh, and again, James supposed to go defensive from Andrex on that corner for the 3rd lap in the row. This time, Andrex is getting a better cut underneath. Is he actually going to stay side by side? No, he takes better of it through the left-hand kink and manages to, both of them putting a little bit of the car in the gravel, but it's managing to keep the momentum nicely. But yeah, I have to say, James doing a really good job on defensive placement so far, probably frustrating Andrex quite a bit, but yeah, he's going defensive and every opportunity and not messing up any other braking zones, and yeah, doing a really good job. And as you said before, Stu maybe been given a little bit of a break, but actually just looking at lap times, it's not costing them too many tenths.
No, not at all. Ooh, we saw Vernox actually in the background there, just getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 10, which is again quite easy to do. I'm surprised to see how many drivers are incurring time penalties, unless of course they're going to go to the stewards. It is possible to have those kind of time penalties, and we just lost.
Oh, that's contact!
I was just thinking we'd lost a driver. I was trying to figure out who it was, and just at the point then there was impact between the Ferrari and the M6. Now side by side, heading through turn 3, but Andrex backs off of that one. Now going to try and cut back on the inside now.
Beautiful.
Prime opportunity. And there it is. That's the pass done. But can he keep ahead of the Ferrari? He's had the pace for so long. Oh no, he's tipped onto the mud, onto the grass. And the mud, what made on about? Now side by side yet again. Turn 5. What a move by James, but can he make it stick? Still side by side now, up the hill, heading towards turn 6. Now Vernox is getting interested, so James can't do anything too. Another Ferrari, what a move by the M6 as well. Brilliantly done, and James is going to lose a position to Vernox.
Oh, is he now? It just about manages to have enough, or short enough straight there to stay ahead going into the coach. Oh, that looked like a little corner cut potentially, but unless James slows down, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's really good battling. Andrex had to be patient there, stuck behind James for several laps, but yeah, finally got the move done. Beautiful overtake, and now it's James' turn to potentially have to focus on Vernox.
to one tyre. One tyre's just coming through the corkscrew there.
Oh my goodness me! Andreas Hayter into the wall. That's the impact with Jeff there through the corkscrew out of nowhere. Good switch, by the way, on the cameras. Oh my god! And there's more contact. I think jumped to Macy, I think, was getting involved on that one. And he's still side by side with the Ferrari of one tyre going side by side now into the final corner. That is the Lambo of Nick Meader as well, trying to get in on the act. And Macy kind of forced to be slow on the exit as one tyre is parked in the way, and Nick Meader trying to take advantage, getting the inside line going down the straight, and it's all sorts of madness going down in the penalty train in the midfield. And this is the battle for P10, I believe, and Macy trying to break late to hold it right outside, but Nick Meader managing to get himself into the top 10.
I say Perry Gromstra's in this mixture as well, and that little Ginetta, so he's right on the back of Andreas Hayter, who is on the back of that 5-car train. That is Micker's Beat, that is also joining the back of this train. What a collection. Look, there's Maisie having another go on the Lambo. Heading into turn 5, doesn't quite make it stick at the moment. The fact that the well, look at that, my Perry.
Grosra into the fast left-hander side by side through here. Surely this is not going to work. And Hayter, as he thought, they both manages to stay 2 wheels on the gravel, but Hayter having to back out as he's nearly fully off the track there. But yeah, what a move by Gronstra. That is not a place you normally see overtakes.
I love the fact that in amongst all these big, powerful cars, you could still hear that little Ginetta growling its head off.
Yeah.
Maisie is staying ahead of the Lemon Lambo at the moment. One tyre has actually gotten away a little bit from Maisie, but is he able to? Perry's got a great ringside seat for this one. Look at this. Andreas Hayter is he's a second back already, so he's lost weight. I think he may well have damage as he's falling off the back of this train. Is Perry going to size up the Lemon Lambo? Maisie's having a look at one tyre on the inside of turn 2. They're going to come together. And
just about getting away with it,
couldn't capitalise on it.
God, Macy getting very feisty there with one tyre was getting back at him actually up the inside, and Macy's been run out wide there, and one tyre immediately back through with Macy now up the inside as well. One tyre closest to the door, having none of that, and Jesus Christ, this battle is going on, and now Grosjean getting a run on the Lamborghini round the outside. And Nick Meader actually letting it through there, I think.
That was a extremely late break from the Netta there, which is possible. I mean, it's that much smaller. I'm not sure if it's that much lighter than the Lambo, but my God, he just danced around the outside of the Lamborghini. We'll just stick with you for a while, Perry. You seem to have a great action going on around you at the moment. Look how close he already is on the back of that Audi. Oh, what might have been for Perry if he hadn't have had that big spin a few laps ago. He's now jumped on the inside of the Audi, and it looks like Macy's got absolutely no answer at all.
He's sliding there. Grosjean's lost it on the inside. And he's dropped all those positions that he gained.
What a shame. It was going so well for a while, but again, he's overcooked it.
As we are actually just over halfway distance in this race at Laguna Seca, the penultimate round of the season, which could crown the champion. Vernox in P6 looking well on course for that at the moment, but he is in not as much pressure as these guys. Macy having another run on one tyre going down into the turn 2 technically, braking zone. And it's very late moving to these, and it's braking on the gravel as well. One tyre surely cutting underneath on that one. Whereas one tyre gone, there is. That was really late from Macy up the inside, as one tyre was kind of on the defensive line already, but somehow Macy found a space, but that was never going to work with that late braking, and they come out of it in the same order they were already. Meter though looking to get involved as well, but yeah, this is just unbelievable scenes at the moment.
There's some damage on the front of the Kaspersky coloured Ferrari as they now head back up to the corkscrew. We've seen some interesting moves happening there. Maisie falling off the back. Oh no! One tyre again! He's overcooked it. That's not the first time we've seen one tyre overcook it. And the corkscrew has claimed another victim. One tyre now back behind this train.
They're all dropping out of this train. Just the pressure is just getting too much. There's still 4 cars remaining actually. Jeez, we've had 2 cars drop out. Who will be the next? So now it's Nick Meader. He's given Maisie a lovely bit of rest though, you have to say, because he was going side by side with one tyre through every single corner, it felt like there. But now he's only had to worry about the Lamborghini behind him. Is going very late on the brakes, but just about getting it slowed down with a bit of a wiggle there in the braking zone. Okay. So, look at the Lambo, look at the Lambo. It's not calming down at all. He's going for the movement of the corkscrew. It's Nick Mito without getting any contact at all. But Macy's a lot later on the brakes. Nick Mito a little bit cautious there, I think. Oh, and Macy though, slightly on the gravel, and Nick Mito's been gifted an opportunity to go through the tire-wearing left-hand turn towards the end of the lap here, and that is P9 for the Lamborghini. So now it's a Lamborghini train. All of a sudden, it's gone from a Ferrari train to an Audi train to a Lamborghini train. I don't think we've got too many more options. That's the two cars behind is Ferraris as well, but Macy's run wide through the final corner. He's got two more positions now. It's all gone wrong for the man who came into this race a second place in the championship, but he's now down to 11th place in the race.
Maisie will not be pleased with that at all. Andreas Hayden gets a bit late on the brakes there, right behind Mikas B. Oh, look at the top two, both of them. 1:23.3.
Wow.
They can
and that light. Nah, you did the 0.2 didn't earlier on, but yeah, that's very close to the fastest times we've seen on all race. Although Johan dropping 2.9 in this race, which means Popsu actually gained 4/10 on him on this lap, so he's back within a second. But so far this race, he has never been able to get close enough, at least from what we've seen, to really challenge Johan too much. But at least he's still keeping the pressure on and making sure that Johan can not rest whatsoever as they're navigating through the Colin McCoy there.
Yes, Colin McCoy, yeah. Oh, Yorkie's ahead of it, actually. Yorkie has actually claimed that 7th position from BMW, so we didn't see that happen. But as you can see for yourself, I wonder if Tipple's going to have a crack back at Yorkie. Seem fairly evenly matched as they come through turn 6.
Both the same car as well, of course. It's the BMW M6 versus BMW M6 battle, which is always interesting as well. But yeah, at the moment it does seem like Yorkie has got the upper hand, having made that move.
We haven't looked at this battle. This is a battle for the podium spot. Andrix has been reeling in 23.4.
Wow.
Whoa!
No. Interesting tyre warming there.
Yeah, that's time warming and Laguna Seca are not two phrases you would commonly. I suspect what's happened there is that the outer tyres have just gotten a little bit too hot and just did not want to bite.
Yeah, the thing is, Stu had a problem on the previous lap because he did a 25.2, so Andrix gained actually 1.8 seconds on the previous lap, but I expect Stu to gain some back after that little mistake there from Andrix.
But Andrix, yeah, he's down to 2-second gap now, but that, that gap's gone very, very close.
Chase the
Cena's, yeah, is now 4/10 then in the favour. Oh, don't go too wide. You can so easily spin. You dip onto the grass, you put a little bit too much power on at that turn 10, and the tyres will not hold. They will just spin you out. So let's just see the lap times this time around: 23.7, 23.4. So another 3/10 in Popsy's favour, and that again is the exact pace that M6 of Andrix has been maintaining. So that is quite interesting. We'll see what Andrix is able to do this time around. 24.2, so he still gained half a second on Stu that time around though.
Yeah. Popsu versus Johan as well is in the battle in the championship pretty much, because Johan is P5 in the championship, Popsu P6, 8 points between them. So in terms of championship positions, that's also a pretty crucial one.
It looked like he was really scruffy coming down the corkscrew there. He's lost a good, let's say about half a second on race
look at
leader.
His previous time though. 23.1 previous. That's the fastest lap I've seen in the race.
Absolutely. I haven't seen any 1:23.2s. But that's going to lose him a bit of time as Maisie is getting out of the way royally of these guys coming through. But
Maisie's dropped 5 seconds to one tire from getting lapped.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him going very slow on that straight between 10 and 11. So the Audi doing well to keep out of the way, and actually both the leaders in the 124s, but I think we can attribute that to having to navigate their way through the back markers. One tyre is next for race leader Johan, who's already got on to Andreas Hayder's case. So we'll see if Andreas is able to keep up a fight against one tyre with race leader Johan coming through. Stu's in trouble! Stu's down in 7th!
What's going on there?
He's behind Yorkie. He's made a mistake somewhere. He's actually 135.
Oh my word!
Yeah, he's 8th. We didn't see the incident. He's had a 135 last time around. He lost 12 seconds in the last lap. Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, he must have had a big spin. I mean, I can't see any damage on his car. Oh, he spun again! Stu is having... He must have lost the tyres.
I think, yeah, he's cooked his tyres and they're just not cooling down, which is the big problem here. So as Popsy starts to reel in Johan again. So that puts this man Andrex into a pretty comfortable third position. He's 11 seconds down from the lead with, what, less than 8 laps to go. He's going to need a big problem for the lead 2 to happen for Andrex to capitalise on it and get the win, obviously. But he's going to have really enjoyed that podium spot. And he is about, my timers have gone cuckoo because I'm looking at the wrong car. He's about 5.3 ahead of James. So Andrex has just got to basically mind his own business as he catches up with, I assume it's Colonel McCoy. Yes, it is. I was getting a notification.
Oh no, Popsu, go to Popsu. Popsu's had a problem. Popsu's had a spin, I think. He's dropped 6 seconds to Johan and ended that battle for first place, unfortunately.
Yeah. And he did a 22.9 last time around.
Wow. Yeah.
What a shame for Popsy, but that battle has well and truly ended with 2 to go. And if he makes another one, Andrex will be right with him. Yeah. And Nick Murdo has allowed Johan through. So, your winner here in Laguna Seca by a very dominant performance is the red Ferrari of Johan Popsu. In the white Ferrari, he's had another issue somewhere because he's lost another 3 seconds, but it's enough to keep him in second position. What a performance from this man, though. It is the white BMW of Andrex. We've just seen that pack that we've just been watching of Mickersby, Warren, Tyre, and Maisie cross the line as well. James barely looked at him all race long. In the blue Ferrari, finishes ahead of Vernax in 5th position. Tipple is across the line, is 6th. Yorkie is across the line. I think Yorkie was actually 6th because he was further up the road than Tipple.
Yeah.
Stu, what a shame for him, running 3rd most of the race. Finishes in what will be 8th position. Nick Media's already thrown it into the ball. I'm assuming they're just having a bit of fun. Oh, look at that.
This is fun.
This is good to see. I'm glad that we have this option to have a bit of fun in the cool-down lap. Andreas Hayder in the Ferrari is there for classified in 12th, I think. Maisie in the Audi couldn't overcome Warren Tyre. Rygort barely saw him all race long. Has come across the line. Mickersby we just saw, and Colonel McCoy, absolutely no idea what position he finished in his BMW. So that is today's race done.
Yeah, it is indeed. I assume we'll be getting a confirmation of the results, and there we go, obviously excluding Andrex, Yorkie and a few of the guys.
Medium managed to get a 28 seconds penalty. 38 for Maisie. That is impressive. 38. Okay. 38 for Maisie.
My word. So he drops behind Hayder. Nick Meadow stays, though, in what would be 9th, it would seem, because he had a bit of a gap there on one tire who has 10 seconds himself. And Mickey's B, you'd assume, will stay in 10th ahead of Warren Tyre. Some good action in that race. It's a shame we never saw an overtake for the lead, apart from right at the start, when, of course, Stu lots out to Johan immediately when the race started. Popsy was close for a very, very long time. Just couldn't quite get close enough to force Johan into any defensive maneuvers. Eventually spun it. Didn't really have anything to lose, though, you have to say. Popsy clearly pushing very hard to get close enough. Led to a spin rather than an overtake, unfortunately for him. But yeah, still stays in second place because he had a pretty solid gap there on Andrex, who gets his first podium of the season and a 3rd podium for BMW after Yorkie, of course, has had 2 previously as well. What it does matter, though, is that with that 5th place in the race, Vernax has secured the AOR PC GT3 Elite League Season 8 Championship title.
Good man, well done.
So with one race to spare, it's a very sore season, of course. It always feels kind of weird to crown a champion after 5 rounds, but when it's only 6 rounds in the season, and Vernax is the one who's been, you know, very fast and very consistent, whereas of course Johan and Popsu and a few of the other fast guys have had various issues along the way. So yeah, but definitely I would say very well deserved there for Vernax, who is now joining us in the Twitch chat as well, saying yo, very celebratory word there, Vernax. But yeah, congrats to you on the championship. But of course, we do have one more race remaining in the season. I'm going to quickly bring up the calendar so you can see for yourself. We've been through Imola and Spa. King Kodak has been through Algarve and Brands Hatch. And Laguna Seca just finished. So Monza will be our final race of the season next week. 34 laps of racing there with some heavy clouds and quite late actually. I wonder if there's going to be some night racing potentially at 10 p.m. in-game time. For those who missed the previous two races, round 3 and 4, as a result of me not streaming it, they are also on KK's YouTube channel, Ranger Carrot. So you can go there and check that out if you want to. Championship is clinched for Vernox, who is our Season 8 championship. Congratulations again, and next week it is Monza, so do join us then. Thank you, KK, for joining me in the box.
Always a great pleasure. We will indeed see you, happy people, next time at the Temple of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, in 1 week's time.
Oh yeah. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later. Goodbye.
Good night.